Harvard-Yale. The game.
A ton of history, a ton of tradition.
There's an intensity about this rivalry.
It's one of the most historic games in the history of college football.
10,000 men of Harvard, one victory today. We know that our holy line their Harvard will slay.
It's for the Ivy League title, but it really means a lot more than that.
And that's the ball game. Harvard wins.
The game tomorrow in Cambridge. Let's bring in two Harvard alums who are now in the NFL, the Ravens' Kyle Juszczyk and the Browns' Desmond Bryant. Desmond, we'll start with you. Explain what it's like for the players during Harvard-Yale week.
Man, it's just everything you could imagine about college football. The stadium's always packed. You know you're going to have a great crowd. And as Ivy League football players, we don't always have that. So, you know, we're really able to get gassed up for that game and be ready to play.
Hey, Kyle, what memories stay with you from playing Yale in those days back in Cambridge?
You know, similar to what Desmond said, this is definitely, the biggest game of the year for us. This is our Super Bowl. And just the fans that come out for this game, it's different than any other game that we have all season.
We hear a lot about pranks. Do the football players get involved in the pranks?
Not while I was there. We didn't get too involved in that.
What about you, Desmond?
No, I don't remember the football players getting involved, but I remember the Yale fans coming out with their little signs and tricking our fans into holding up a Yale sign during the game. That kind of really threw us off.
How did they do that?
They dressed as Harvard students, and they handed out the signs and pretended like they were going to be holding up a giant H, but it ended up being a Yale sign, so they got us.
They got you good. Now, listen, as we know, Harvard is not your typical football-mad university. It's an institution of higher learning to the nth degree. How will the student body react to the college game day crew being on campus? Kyle?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure where you're at. No, I think they'll react great. I think everyone's going to be really excited. I know I've seen over social media this whole week, everyone just getting really pumped up about college game day being out there, because that's something that, we're not really used to having. So to have that kind of attention and national exposure is going to be awesome.
Hey, Desmond, tell me about the Harvard tradition we've heard about this week known as the final lap. What is that like?
It's just a great tradition for us leaving seniors at Harvard. It's usually a blistery cold day in November, and after practice, the seniors are allowed to take the one final lap around the field in Harvard Stadium before they leave, and I think it's a great way to send guys off.
Kyle, what do you remember about your final lap?
Man, I just remember it being a really emotional moment. Coach Murphy really sets it up where he turns off all the lights, and you're just taking that last lap with your brothers, all your seniors, and you get a chance to thank all the underclassmen for everything they've done for you, and get to thank all the coaches that you've been with for 4 years. So it's really emotional, but it's a special moment.
Hey, it's Harvard-Yale, which has its own special significance, but this is also a huge game in the Ivy League and for the Crimson, who could finish off a perfect season. What would it mean for them, Desmond, to go 10-0 on the year?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be able to accomplish that my freshman year in college. We went 10-0, and it's just a great feeling. Anytime you're able to, as a competitor, to be able to go out undefeated, especially go out over Yale, the final game of the season, it's a great feeling, a great way to set up your off season, ready to come back for next year.
Sometimes people make a lot of football players taking easy courses to get through college. Give me the hardest classes you guys took at Harvard. Kyle, you first.
I'd probably say my American economic policy was pretty tough. We got into some pretty advanced things that, that weren't exactly familiar to me, and required a lot of time off the field, studying.
How about you, Desmond?
It was actually my math XA class, the very first math class I took at Harvard. I used to thoroughly enjoy math, and then I got to Harvard and realized it was a whole new ballgame, and I just wasn't ready for it. So it was definitely math.
I've been there, done that. Calculus got me. Where will you guys be when the game is played tomorrow? Kyle?
Unfortunately, I think I'm going to be in practice because I think the game starts at 12:30, and we're still going to be on the field. So I'm definitely going to DVR it and make sure I catch up on it.
What about you, Desmond?
I'll be on my way. We're boarding the plane to go to Atlanta tomorrow, so I also won't get to see it, but I'll also DVR it.
All right. Well, we'll promise we won't break in on and let you know what's going on. But it's going to be a fun one. Harvard and Yale. Harvard going for the perfect season. Yale trying to tie them for the Ivy League crown. Kyle Juszczyk and Desmond Bryant joining us today on SportsCenter. Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, thanks for having me.